He's the Tory Prime Minister winning over people in places other Tories can't. That's what his supporters tell you anyway.
People have died because of austerity, and then you've got the cheek to come here and tell us austerity's over. And it's all good now, we're going to leave the EU and everything's going to be great. It's just a fairy tale.
A week ago, not far from here, Boris Johnson met Please Leave My Town man in Morley. Today's welcome was from Leanne in Doncaster.
You've drained Doncaster. Doncaster have had no funds from central government.
But that's what we're here to talk about.
Every year there's less money for Doncaster, and you have the cheek to come here.
We've got a huge new towns fund, which is going to be giving £3.6 billion altogether. Doncaster is one of the towns that's going to be eligible.
Anyway.
We're putting money into the NHS, and we're putting money into schools, and I think there are very good times ahead.
But look at this. There are also selfies and handshakes with promises of cash for northern towns and policy announcements you might expect from Labour. All this appears to be working for some. At any other time in the last 50 years, this would have been inconceivable because this is Doncaster and that is a Conservative Prime Minister. This shouldn't happen, but you know, he's not lost. He's not stumbled into Doncaster by accident. This is a strategy because Boris Johnson thinks he can win votes here. But this strategy is also a gamble that Labour leavers will back him. Would you vote for him?
I won't vote for him, no, I don't think so.
You'll shake his hand?
I'll shake his hand, yeah.
Go on, explain for me.
Yeah.
You respect him, you quite like him, you won't vote for him. Explain it.
I think he wants to take us out and I want to go out.
But you won't vote for him?
I don't think so, no.
Why not?
I'm still Labour, to be honest.
Next stop, Rotherham, and the Convention of the North in what was once a steelworks. Inside, the Prime Minister promising to give the North more power, money, and even modern trains.
I'm announcing my intention to give the railways of the North back to the people of the North.
There were promises too on Brexit.
We're working incredibly hard to get a deal. There is the rough shape of a deal to be done. I'm cautiously optimistic. How is that a good enough characterisation, Paul, of where we are? I'm cautiously optimistic.
But if the PM assumes the North is just leave land and a one-size-fits-all approach will work,
why are you not with them in Parliament sorting out the mess that you have created? Get back to Parliament and sort it out.
A heckler soon set him straight. Boris Johnson tried to plough on as the protester was removed, which feels a bit like a metaphor for something. When the PM's slop was up, it wasn't exactly a standing ovation.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Even so, chances are he'll be coming back to the North to see us again very soon.
Claire Fallon there. So Mr Johnson will be in Luxembourg on Monday to meet EU officials, already claiming the rough shape of a Brexit deal is in place. It comes after the EU's chief negotiator called for concrete proposals. From Downing Street, our political correspondent Paul McNamara joins us from Westminster now. So the rough shape of a deal, Paul?
Yeah, indeed. This is his first official visit since becoming Prime Minister to see the EU Commission President, Jean-Claude Juncker, and the EU's chief negotiator, Michel Barnier. A working lunch in Luxembourg on Monday, we're told. What can we expect? Well, probably not very much. By the way, both sides seem to be downplaying this. Yes, Mr Johnson said today there was cautious optimism and the rough shape of a deal in place. But today, Downing Street, playing it down, making the point that this is just part of ongoing face-to-face meetings the Prime Minister's having with his counterparts across Europe. In Europe too, sources on the other side of the channel saying we've had plenty of trips from Prime Ministers and Brexit negotiators full of optimism, but look at where we still are right now. Today, the Irish Prime Minister, Leo Varadkar, made the point that the gap is still very wide. There was some excitement overnight, though. In the Times, they broke a story that the DUP might be softening their stance on their red lines. Talk of a possible Northern Ireland-only backstop. That was slapped down straight away by the DUP leader, Arlene Foster. Their Brexit negotiator, Sammy Wilson, has been doing exactly the same all day, saying simply, any deal which differentiates Northern Ireland from the rest of the UK just will not fly. But you do get some sense that both sides might just be getting closer to a deal. They might be getting closer to a deal. And part of the reason for that is Boris Johnson has spent a leadership campaign saying he will deliver Brexit by October 31st, do or die. Now, the problem is if you spend a leadership campaign giving that message, you might spend a general election campaign having that message said back to you if you don't deliver. And however you try and spin that, that's tricky. I suspect that may be sharpening his focus.